What's up, everybody? I'm Marcus.
I'm Ryan.
And together,
we are the Northwest Sports Fanatics.
We back at you guys with the Sports Fanatics weekly news,
rumors,
highlights,
signings,
suspensions,
firings,
and all that other good stuff there. So let's head right into it. Let's kick it off with a little NBA news.
All right.
Ball in. So we want to go over the Northwest Sports Fanatics top 5 power rankings this week. And also, it's halfway point in the season. So we want to give y'all a little MVP, Coach of the Year, our candidates and favorites going forward towards the end of the year. So let's start off with the number 5 team.
Number 5?
Cinco, the Houston Rockets. Right now, you know, they having a great year, Harden and company. They had 11 games where they made over 15 threes. That's an NBA record.
I would put James Harden in the MVP conversation as well. He's really held it down since Dwight Howard has been out, and they're just kind of getting acclimated with Ariza, obviously from the Wizards, and they're starting to kind of put it together.
All right, and number 4, let's go out to Memphis. We have the Memphis Grizzlies. They're sitting at 29-11. You know, Zebo has been injured, but since he's been back, all he did is average 19 points, 13 rebounds.
I like the Grizzlies. I think they're one of my favorites to actually go a little bit deeper in the playoffs this year. They got good defense, a good bench, and I think they're going to overachieve and prove people wrong.
I think that acquisition of Jeff Green is going to pay off in the long run, too. So let's head to the number 3 team. We got the hometown, the Portland Trailblazers. We're having a great year, sitting at 30-11. Kind of getting hit by the injury bug here a little lately, but we still pushing.
Yeah, Rip City. I mean, the city is alive. The hype is real. LaMarcus Aldridge a little dinged up with the finger, with the thumb actually. So we'll see how long he'll be out. But I do like the Blazers' chances moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's all about staying healthy. And congratulations to Wesley Matthews, 3-point leader in Blazer history. He's only played 5 years. Pretty incredible.
He passed Mr. Terry Porter, one of the all-time Blazer greats, and you know we'll be good. We got Mr. Dame Lillard on our squad, so. The number 2 team, we're going to go with the Atlanta Hawks, and right now they're sitting at 33-8, and they've been a staggering 26-2 since Thanksgiving. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think the Atlanta Hawks, the team that kind of got laughed at and pulled aside, is kind of like little brother. Now it's kind of big brother and pushing everybody around. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is, not only are they beating the teams in the East, they're beating the good teams in the West. Yeah. So this team is for real this year.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Bullhalter. Coach Boom, I just call him Coach Boom, Coach B, you know, the Atlanta Hawks coach, however you want to call it.
Haven't been this good since Dominique Wilkins' era, so it's been quite a few years since the early 90s, so it's kind of exciting to see a new team kind of pop up into the mix.
Yes, sir. I know they're excited down in the A. The number 1 team we have right here on the Northwest Sports Fanatics Power Rankings, we got to go with the Golden State Warriors. They sitting at 32-6. They've won 15 straight home games. Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, Steve Kerr, and Mr. Draymond Green.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. For Coach of the Year, you know, Steve Kerr is definitely one of the candidates. One of my personal favorites. Who would have thought that he'd come in immediately, replace Mark Jackson, right, who they thought was the savior, you know, pretty much of the Bay Area, right? And you get a better record, and then you're getting better play out of the team, too. And Draymond Green's been playing great defense. He might be first league All-NBA defense this year, first team.
Hey, he got my vote for Defensive Player of the Year, and also you better pay that man or somebody else will coming up this offseason.
All right, so let's shift it over real quick to our favorites, the MVP.
Yes, sir.
The ROI, Rookie of the Year,
yes,
and the best coach so far at this point, at the midway point in the NBA. So starting off with the favorite team in the East and the West, who do you got?
Favorite team in the West, it's a no-brainer. The Golden State Warriors right now, they're head and shoulders beyond everybody. Not only offensively, but I've been pretty surprised on how they lock it down on the defensive end.
All right, and then what about your...
In the East Coast,
let me see what you got there.
I try not to be so biased, you know. I want to go with the Hawks, you know, or I could go Chicago or Toronto.
All right.
But I'm gonna go with the Washington Wizards, my hometown team. I do think when it's all said and done, we have the perfect mix of inside, outside. as well as defense, and we share the ball pretty well. Those are the great traits of a team that's destined to make it to the finals.
All right, and as far as my teams go, you can go for the teams that have the best records, but I like to kind of think a little outside the box.
So that's what we do.
That's what we do. So for my Western team, I'm going to go with the Grizzlies.
Okay.
All right, I like their starting five. They got Mike Conley, they got Courtney Lee, Allen, Zebo, Gasol. They play defense. They play obviously together, right? They're kind of a post team. They're not a splashy three-point team like Golden State, right? But I think they have what it takes to kind of maybe make a Western Finals push this year. I know that might sound kind of surprising to some people, right? And obviously you got the Blazers in the mix and the Warriors as well. But I do like the Grizzlies. And then my East team, you won't pick up the slack for your own biased team, so I'll go with the Wizards, right? This team reminds me of the West Coast version, East Coast version of the Blazers and the Wizards. They're almost identical. John Wall, Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, Wesley Matthews. You got Paul Pierce, Nicholas Batum, Nene, LaMarcus Aldridge, and then you got Gortat, right? Which is like Robin Lopez, or Chris Kaman. So I really like those two teams kind of moving forward. They're taking the next step. Now let's go to MVP. The best.
MVP. Right now, my MVP so far, I'm going to have to go with the bearded one, Mr. James Harden. Right now, he's leading the NBA, 27 points per game. But not only is he scoring 27 points a game, he has 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block per game. And he's stuffing the stats there. He's 6th in three-pointers made, 8th in free throw percentage, 11th in assists a game, and he's 6th in steals, and all that adds up to me is MVP.
Knowledge bombs. Just explosion right there, okay? So for me, I really like Harden, as well. But, with the 27 points per game, he's really, shown that he can hold it down for, obviously, Dwight Howard and the coaching staff, Kevin McHale. But I'm going to have to go to another West Coast. I'm going to go out Steph Curry. All right?
Nice.
Steph Curry, Splash Brothers. I mean, you got the best record in the NBA, arguably the best coach in the NBA right now, right? He's a playmaker. He can score. He can shoot. He can pass. He can rebound. He can pretty much do anything that you need him to do.
And he stepped up his defense this year,
right? And I think he's showing people that he not only is he a good player, much better than his dad. No disrespect, Del Curry, right? Player that when we were young little children running around in the backyard pretending to be Del Curry in the back, right? Shooting the threes. But Steph is the elite of the elite, and I don't really see him slowing down. And he's just getting into his prime, which is really scary. So let's shift over now to Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of
the ROI,
the Year.
The best of the best of the best.
Well,
sir.
This award has been kind of tainted with, Jabari Parker going down. To me, it's pretty much a one-man race with Mr. Andrew Wiggins. And since Christmas, he's actually stepped up his game. He's averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and he scored 20 points in 8 of the last 10 games. We called for him to be more aggressive, and that's exactly what I've been seeing from him.
Yeah, first part of the season, very passive. Now he's getting a little aggressive. I think he's getting acclimated to the NBA style. He's got the NBA body. They kind of compared him to maybe the next LeBron James, and that might have been a little premature.
That ain't fair.
That's not fair, right? But, he does play shooting guard, so there's a little Kobe, in him I can see at times. He's going to run away. T-Mac, a little T-Mac there as well. I think he's going to run away with it, though, because like you said, Jabari Parker's injured. I do like Mirotic, obviously, as well. With the Bulls, there's a few other players you could mention, but Wiggins, 15 points per game. He could maybe even average a little bit more. Now, they don't have very many wins.
Right.
They only got about 9-10 wins right now, but I do like him kind of taking them to the next step. And then now, you got to think, did they make a mistake? With the whole Kevin Love... Andrew should have the Cavs maybe have kept Andrew Wiggins if he's going to be maybe the next Dwayne Wade, Tracy McGrady. Now that's another show for another day. We'll have to kind of talk about that another time.
I'll be thinking about that for years to come.
Right. Last but not least, the coach, the best of the best,
the coach of the year.
Coach of the year.
That's where it all starts, right there. You got a great head coach. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a great team. My coach of the year so far, it's easy to go with the, Coach Boom or Steve Kerr.
Right.
But me, I'm going to go with Mr. Jason Kidd. That's right, the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. You lose your top draft pick in Jabari Parker, and all you do is go 2 games above 500 so far this year. And who would have ever thought that they would be this good? You have some young talent there in Giannis Antetokounmpo,
right?
Star. And you have, Mr. Brandon Knight. I thought his career was over after the DeAndre Jordan dunk. but he's bounced back. You have Dudley, OJ Mayo coming off the bench, and you got Big Larry Sanders down on the block to rebound and block shots. And I think Jason Kidd is getting the most out of them, so I'm gonna go with Jason Kidd. First time the Bucks have been relevant in years.
I'm gonna have to go the West Coast. All right, I'm gonna bring it to the Bay. We're gonna go Steve Kerr. Okay, 33-6. Not one person in America predicted 33-6 with the Golden State Warriors #1 at this time. Mark Jackson, very well respected. Now he's back on TV. Maybe wishing that he was still there. But obviously Steve Kerr's methods are working at this point. He's making everyone get the most out of their own abilities, which I thought Mark Jackson did as well, but there was a little disagreement with management.
He just took it to the next
level. Took it to the next level. And then I think the one single-handedly player besides Steph Curry and Klay Thompson that's benefited the most from Steve Kerr, a.k.a. Coach of the Year, Draymond Green. Because you can say now that he's arguably first-team All-NBA defensive player, and you could have never even thought of saying that a year or two ago when he first came in the league. He was just kind of a role player, and he's really taken it to the next level. So that's who I got for Coach of the Year.
He's kind of carved his niche out because he can guard 1 through 5. So.
Right. Honorable mention, Terry Stotts from the Blazers Rip City, because I got to do that. Now let's shift over to the NFL. All right. A lot of talk right now with the Patriots versus the Seahawks. Deflated footballs. The Super Bowl.
Wipe that little baby.
All right. So what do we want to talk about today? So obviously we had a tough game, Seattle, Green Bay.
Wow, what a game.
One of the most epic games in NFC Championship, I think, history. And then you had the Patriots and the Colts on the other side in a game that was a little lopsided, a little controversy in the AFC Championship. What do you take away from the games this weekend?
One thing I take away from the games, especially the NFC Championship game, is that the game is never over until the clock says zeros. Seattle showed resilience. They fought through adversity to come back. Made some big plays, as big teams do when it comes down to the play. He tried his all on the injured calf. He was just one recovery from an onside kick of hitting to the Super Bowl.
I didn't really see the sharpness that I saw in Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl run a few years ago. I know the weather was bad, and obviously Russell Wilson had all the interceptions. But that's why we watch the games. Exactly. That's why they play the games. Exactly. As bad as those fans probably felt that left early, you know what I mean? You can never leave early on your team, but sometimes people do it. 19-7, it doesn't look like you're going to come back. But I do like what I see, obviously, through the game. There, it was just one of those improbable wins that you thought that never would happen. Man, it's just unbelievable to me to think that Seattle came away with that win, with everything on the line. But we got bigger stories right now. We got injury bugs to talk about, and we got the Deflategate, aka Spygate 2. All right, so you got injuries to talk about. Richard Sherman, his elbow.
He gutted it out that game, man. My hat's off to Richard Sherman. He played when others would have sat.
Absolutely. The elbow, obviously is going to be a big factor. And then Earl Thomas, man, his shoulder got dislocated. Those are two of the best secondary players in the whole entire world.
Exactly.
On the same team. They rely on them a lot. But it's going to be crazy, man, to see if those injuries are going to affect them so much like Denver had with Von Miller. Are we going to get the similar type of result? It's going to be kind of tough to see. And then as we go over to the Patriots and the Colts game, that kind of followed after, what is your take from that game?
My take on that game was it was just a total mismatch. It looked like a team that hasn't been to a championship game before versus a team that has. And the experience showed up. Indianapolis started off with a little jitters. They started behind 14-0, and that's something you can't do, especially in Foxborough with Mr. Belichick and Brady at the helms over there. Okay,
so that's what they're talking about right now is the Deflategate. So originally, earlier in the year, the Colts played the Patriots. One of the secondary, corners, safeties got a couple interceptions in the game, kept the balls, right? Took them to the staff. They were deflated. They reported it to the NFL. So this is nothing new. They already knew that this was already going on. But to have 11 out of the 12 deflated that much, that makes it easier to catch. It makes it easier to throw, and especially in cold weather. So it does give you that kind of advantage. Now we have to put the asterisks possibly up even more than we did before. Because now you have the legacy of not only Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in mind, but the rest of the players and the organization, Mr. Kraft, all the way from the top all the way to the bottom. So, and it's not the first time.
That's what I was going to say. It makes you think, how long has this been going on? But to be honest with you, even with balls inflated, I don't think the Colts had a chance.
Yeah, I don't think the Colts would have won the game, but you got to penalize the Patriots if this was going on. And how long has this been going on? Because it does give you a competitive edge. They had the Spygate where they had the assistant spying on the other team, right, with the Jets. Then they had a rumored videotaping of the Rams walkthrough in their first Super Bowl. Maybe that had something to do with them coming out with that 3-point win in that first Super Bowl as well. And they're so good at free agency and drafting and contracts that it almost gives them this negative black eye. Because when they're good for sports, I think it's good for, obviously, America, NFL in general. But to me, X factors for this Super Bowl. I mean, this is going to change before the game starts because obviously injuries and other things are going to come up. Yeah. But my X factor right now, Rob Gronkowski and Revis Island. Okay. The tight end that is the best of the best of the best. The cream of the crop. And then Revis Island getting back to form and showing he's the best corner in the league, right? Versus the Seattle Seahawks wide receiving core, right? Jermaine Kearse. Right, Doug Baldwin and company, right, and the Seahawk D-line. These are going to be really key factors to see when you go back and forth. Will Russell Wilson play as bad as he did last game in the NFC Championship? No, he won't, right? But will it be enough to kind of go over with the Patriots and what they're trying to do? What do you think about X factors in the game?
My X factor for the game, of course, it starts with the New England Patriots, and it starts with their running game. Mr. LeGarrette Blount. He's going to have another huge day. Also, I do like the Gronk matchup, whether it's going to be Earl Thomas on him or Cam Chancellor, that's going to be an issue. And on the other side of the ball, we have to go with the New England Patriots front seven against that Seahawks offensive line. They like the beast mode, like to pound the ball with Marshawn and get the Skittles going and things like that.
Right.
Russell Wilson.
Skittle party.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is going to be huge with the read option. It's going to be huge for Chandler Jones and Ninkovich to keep Russell Wilson in the pocket and make him beat you from the pocket as the Green Bay Packers did, and he threw a couple of interceptions.
Right. So it'll be injuries on the Seahawks with their star players versus the scandal with the Deflategate. Can they rise above?
With a Super Bowl.
Right? Two number one seeds, the first time that's happened in 2 consecutive years. It should be something really fun to watch as we move forward. Now let's kind of wrap the show up. We're almost done. We're on that last stretch. All right, we're rolling. We're getting close.
It's the Northwest Sports Fanatics GoPro edition.
Okay. And then any last news that we got?
The last couple of news, I'm a huge National fan, and we just picked up Matt Scherzer. So that's going to be huge for us. That'll give us probably the top starting 5 pitching core in Major League Baseball. And also, man, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd, it's on hold. Come on, Floyd, sign the contract, man. Let's get a world what they want to see.
Right, I know Pacquiao's kind of calling him out, instead of Floyd saying that he won't fight, but why not? He's going to win. He's going to go undefeated. Exactly. He's going to knock him out. Now, if it was Pacquiao maybe 5 years ago, then it would have been a little bit of a different story, maybe a little bit more competitive, still with Floyd coming out on top at the end, because we all know he's the best.
Exactly.
But that's obviously another day, so let's get this done. Let's get this fight going.
Well, there you had it. Northwest Sports Fanatics. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Northwest Sports Fanatics.
We'll be back at you guys real soon.